Hello, welcome to the show. It's the Money and Markets show on NTV Uganda, and we're glad you're here. To start off, we'll go to Kenya, where the country is grappling with a huge debt burden. As it is today, the country is spending a lot more on servicing debt than meeting its recurrent expenditure obligations.
And of course, we see in Uganda that a huge chunk of the national budget is spent on debt financing.
And to economists today, the major question is, how do you balance between meeting national obligations and debt servicing?
Welcome to Money and Markets.
One of the reasons why countries borrow is because they cannot mobilize enough resources locally to meet their cost obligations. And manufacturing is one of those areas that are key in helping a country mobilize resources locally.
And of course, Uganda is making a huge stride with Kira Motors to see how we can increase production to be self-reliant. Take a look.
I am right now standing in one of the structures at the Kira vehicle plant in Jinja Industrial and Business Park, where government has invested in setting up a world-class motor vehicle manufacturing facility, with the initial product being the bus. Where we are today, we have set up over 22,000 square meters of production space, and we are continuing to build on this to realize over 55,000 square meters that will support operations like machining, cutting, sewing, painting, welding and fabrication, chassis assembly and integration, electronics and electrical wiring of the vehicles, as well as assembly in terms of the trim components and testing, inspection and quality assurance of vehicles here. With an intervention of this nature as an investment, we are seeing that over and beyond the factory which produces vehicles in Uganda, which is a very important aspect considering that Uganda, the second highest value on our import bill is vehicles annually. And in the last decade, we've been importing in excess of $500,000 in Uganda worth of vehicles. And number one has always been the fuel, which is about $1.3 billion US, which actually fuel is bought to utilize the vehicles. And when we talk about manufacture of parts, Ugandans may be aware that this is not very new in this country, because we have companies like Uganda Batteries Limited, which have been in operation since 1958, making auxiliary batteries which work as spare parts for our vehicle. And these are the aspects we see an opportunity for the business community to tap into, to see that things like the aluminium components for the frames of the window, the moldings in the bus, the bamboo boards for the floor, the wiring harnesses, a range of bolts and nuts, a range of formed steel components on the bus, the seats have foam, and we have so many foam manufacturing companies. They have leather, they have cloth, so we have so many people who can go into tailoring. So we are looking at a platform that enables integration of a wide range of skills to create enterprise value, all the way from researchers that are as skilled as you could go to the peak of skilling, and drilling down through the engineers, the economists, the financial planners, the project managers, business analysts, investment analysts, lawyers, steel benders. We are talking people who are tailors. We are talking about software developers, and also at the front end, feeding into the mobility ecosystem by providing not only drivers and operators, stewards, but also people who can be involved in servicing the vehicles once they are on the road. What we see is that at maturity, this intervention has the potential of impacting over 300 small and medium enterprises along the value chain, and providing opportunities for over 100,000 workers along the value chain, working on different aspects of ensuring that a lot of content is import substituted to create more opportunities for the Ugandan, but also to provide ways of transforming our economy into the economy that we seek to see, and to skin along deeper in the value chains, looking at the mobility industrial value chain and looking all the way from the upstream just up to the midstream. You're looking at raw material processing. If the raw material is steel, so you're getting the iron ore, you're processing it into steel, you're preparing it into the different components that are used either for the construction industry, furniture, consumer products, or even the motor vehicle. When you see the door of a bus, on the door of a bus, you have glass, you have rubber, you have aluminum components, you have some electronics depending on the type of bus. So all of these aspects, and that's where we see manufacturing creating a quite rich and diverse platform. And as a nation, we are thinking right. Now we need to put the necessary building blocks in place, and Kira Motors Corporation and the plant here is one of those interventions which are joining others to ensure that we touch that opportunity presented through manufacturing, knowledge-based services and goods. As Kira Motors Corporation, we have designed and built the Kayola EVS, which is a premium electric city bus and moves 300 kilometers after charging, and then you can charge again. And this demonstrates our capacity to change mobility in our urban centers. But we have also designed and made the Kayola coach, which is a long distance executive bus that can support you to move between cities and across borders. And we see that there is an opportunity in the community to come and partner with us, not only in making the components, but also buy the buses.
With COVID-19, it's now clear that epidemics are not only health problems, but they can as well be economic problems. That's why it's important for a country to build self-reliance in the area of biomedicine, dealing with some of these epidemics.
And of course, now we see that this creates an opportunity for us to see where we can collaborate for innovations.
As the world got hit hard by the COVID-19 pandemic, the race for a cure picked momentum. To economists, the pandemic was a health problem, but as much an economic one. For countries like Uganda and its peers in most of the developing world, it was time for internal reflection as it became clear that self-reliance in the area of medicine or biotech, as scientists call it, is an important strategic milestone. According to observers, great lessons should be drawn by Uganda from good examples out of other developing countries like Cuba, whose capacity in biotech medicines helped it deal with what has turned out to be both a health and economic crisis instigated by the COVID-19 pandemic.
In Cuba, we have a big biotech development. For example, two of our COVID-19 vaccines are Soberana O2 and Soberana Plus. They are registered already in Cuba, Nicaragua, Venezuela, and Iran. And in Cuba, we use the combination with 2 doses of Soberana O2 and 1 dose of Soberana Plus in the pediatric population, in the almost entire pediatric population. And this is was very important, because this vaccination allowed to restart the children in the school. And Cuba is the first country in the world to vaccinate their children in a massive way.
So as Uganda embarks on making its breakthroughs in the biotech area, such as efforts towards making its own COVID-19 vaccine, critical synergies with those that have already made good progress remain important.
Well, right now we are here for that, in order to start this collaboration. We are open to looking for some companies interested in our products that could register and commercialize them here.
I think between Cuba and Uganda can be some opportunities of collaboration. And we can see in this biotech area how we can collaborate together in all the stages of the products.
But there are some lessons that Uganda can pick on what it will take to build a strong biotech industry.
It is a field really complex that really need a lot of resources. For example, in Cuba, our state gave a lot of resources in order to develop this field, and at the time, now it is considered by the international field of this, also in this field, as the first country in Latin America regarding biotech. So the most experience that we have, actually some of our pros are selling in what they call the first world.
With that capacity and breakthroughs, the island nation is now traversing the African continent, showcasing its biotech industry.
So we give the thank you to our Cuban embassy and the Pharmaceutical Society of Uganda to invite us here in this fair, in this exhibition, a biotech exhibition here in Uganda, because it's important for us promoting our products in the African region, and in order to get registration and identify commercial distributors and other business opportunities.
Beyond human medicine, the Cubans are also keenly looking at the agriculture sector, with special focus on animal medicines, considering the importance of agriculture to African economies, including Uganda.
We have not only products for the human use, and also for animal use and for plants. So in the case of animals, we have provide vaccines. This is vaccines against classical swine fever, but also have a vaccine named Gavac. This is for the treatment, or in order to eliminate the tick in the bovine livestock.
Growth of the biotech industry is highly dependent on collaborations that transcend borders and boundaries. For Uganda, Cuba presents alternatives for development of this industry, as well as alternative treatment and medicine for its population and animals.
We now take a very short commercial break. Money and Markets continues.